Nothing easy about last night. In fact, it was a tough pill to swallow. Mahomes' magic rears its head again. A 22-yard touchdown pass to Travis Kelce, 28 seconds to go, and the Chiefs exact revenge on the Raiders, who had handed them their only loss of the season. And it's Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin, presented by Progressive Insurance. All of our guests on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Huge NFL issues. Our front office insider, Mike Tannenbaum, to break it down in 30 minutes. Fellas, break down the weekend. Then we will break down an incredible Sunday in the NFL and some very eyebrow-raising things in college football on Saturday as well. I should mention this morning we are here at our ESPN campus in Bristol, Connecticut. How was the weekend?
Well, you let them off the hook. You had them. You had Michigan. You let them off the hook, Zubin. How did you do that, Coach?
He is referencing my alma mater, Rutgers, who was looking for one of the biggest wins in school history over Michigan. Remember, Michigan is the all-time major wins leader. Rutgers, arguably, Jay knows Jersey native, one of the worst programs in the history of college football.
It was a very Rutgers thing to do.
I became a Rutgers fan for about 4 quarters in 2 overtimes.
Do you know
I
how
was a major
torturous?
Rutgers fan.
And how torturous was that? I've been doing it for 42 years. Okay, so that's how bad
I
it's
was
been.
hoping and praying that they beat Michigan, though. I just felt like hating on Michigan that day.
Just continue to dig the grave deeper for John Harbaugh.
Oh, man. It was one of the – and then because on College Game Day, you had Desmond and them all pick Utah over USC, so it gave me extra motivation to pick Rutgers over Michigan. But my weekend was good.
And we should quickly mention, of course, Desmond, Heisman Trophy winner at Michigan. Michigan over Rutgers 48-42 in triple overtime. And Rutgers may have lost the game, but I think Michigan found a quarterback in Cade McNamara. The Joe Milton era was nice while it lasted. We'll talk about that a little bit later. But go ahead, dig in. There's so much from this weekend, especially from a crazy NFL Sunday.
No, it was. You got through college football, Jay, and free agency on Friday was big. Seeing all the trades, and not the trades, but the signings of a lot of free agent players going to different teams. My Lakers got rich again.
They've been rich.
Rebuilding that roster was big. But then watching some football yesterday, pro football, obviously, and starting with last night's game, the Raiders, much like Rutgers, they let them off the hook. They had them. It was 2 minutes left in that game when they scored that touchdown, and I said, you know what, they're going to lose this thing because the guy on the other side, Patrick Mahomes, has too much time left to go down and do exactly what he did, which was score, and the game was over. He left the Raiders no time to go back down and do what they did. And you just, I don't know how they left Kelce wide open in the back of the end zone. It just didn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Somebody blew the coverage, obviously screwed things up, paying attention to Patrick Mahomes, and they wound up losing that game. It was a good one. Now, the Raiders are the only team, in my opinion, outside of maybe Pittsburgh, that I feel can give the Chiefs a run for their money.
You don't give the Colts anything, even with that defense and the performance they had last night? I mean, their defense is elite, right? I question their defense. And we also talked about who teams play against. But, I mean, if you catch Phillip Rivers on the right day, on a hot day, I mean, you have to give them somewhat of a chance.
I'm not ready to bite him yet, though. I understand they beat the Packs. I'm just not ready. I'm not ready to buy Phillip Rivers and the coach yet. Doesn't mean I won't come around to it in a couple weeks. But I don't think in terms of Kansas City, I think their best shot, anybody's best shot, is probably the Raiders right now.
It's really funny yesterday watching two quarterbacks get the ball pretty late in the game with the Green Bay game. First off, I was like, all right, Aaron Rodgers just doing Aaron Rodgers stuff. I mean, that 50-yard pass that he threw? He found a way to get the field goal, tie the game. I thought they were going to win the game. Colts found a way to win the game down the stretch. But then the other quarterback, and talking about the Raiders game last night, Patrick Mahomes, it was a couple weeks ago. I remember saying, like, everybody was talking about Russell Wilson. I'm like, all right, well, Pat Mahomes just seems like he is destined to get another MVP, Key. 2 minutes left, catches the ball. I mean, now he has a 27-2 TD to interception ratio. That's stupid. That's insane.
He was always in the conversation. It's just that Russell Wilson started off so hot, and he hadn't won an MVP, let alone got an MVP vote, a single vote. So that momentum made it feel as though if he stayed on track, he would have an opportunity to win it. But once he started to kind of settle down, tail down a little bit, had a turnover problem, Patrick Mahomes continued to ascend and continued to show why he was the MVP 2 years ago. And so as you look at it, he now has, in my opinion, stepped up as the number one guy. Russell Wilson's back in the conversation. And tonight, Tom Brady takes on the Rams. If Tom Brady goes out there and does Tom Brady type things, he pushes himself into the conversation even deeper.
I will say, we're asking on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed this morning, who's the one team the Chiefs don't want to face in the playoffs? You sort of heard Key's answer. It's the Raiders. I'm kind of surprised Key didn't say the Steelers. More on that in a second. Be a part of the Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin Nation on the Dr. Pepper Twitter feed, ESPN Nation, presented by Dr. Pepper. It's official. College football's back. So is your favorite Dr. Pepper-loving college football town, Fansville. Head to a store near you to treat your inner college football fan to an ice-cold 20-ounce Dr. Pepper today. Key did say maybe the Raiders do have their number. 2 tight games, 1 win, 1 loss. Jay said 2 picks for Patrick Mahomes. The only 2 picks for Patrick Mahomes, both came courtesy of the Las Vegas Raiders, so there's something there. But Key, the Steelers are 10-0.
He said the Steelers are in the conversation. He said
I think it should be a clear runaway. I think it should be a clear runaway for the Steelers. 10-0, undefeated, short week, a struggling's Ravens on tap Thursday.
I think that the Steelers and the Raiders are both there, but because I'm coming off the Raiders' victory against the Chiefs and coming off a near victory against the Chiefs in the style in which they played, makes me believe that they're the ones that can give them a tough out. Now, Pittsburgh, obviously being undefeated, Zubin, there's no question about they're going to give them a run for their money. I mean, Chase Claypool, and Juju, and Big Ben, and just what the Steelers are doing. And they're catching the Ravens, like you said, on a nasty loss to the Tennessee Titans in overtime. And on a short week now, they have to think about going to Pittsburgh and playing. The game's in Pittsburgh, right?
Correct. Thanksgiving night, 33.
They have to go to Pittsburgh and play against a Steeler team that's staying on track to have the number 1 seed. That's the beauty of the way the NFL has made this thing with this one bye for one team, that now you have the Chiefs with 1 loss and you have the Steelers with no losses, who's trying to continue to stay the course to the end of the year. So they're going to have to play. So you're going to see a good game out of this one.
That's why that Chiefs win was so big last night, so they could stay within 1 game of Pittsburgh. But I just want to throw your old numbers back at you. I mean, I look at it this way, Key. You've always said it's really tough to beat a team 3 times in a season. Both of these games could have gone either way. But the fact of the matter is the Steelers are 10-0 and the Raiders are 6-4. So I'm just a little surprised that you see them almost on equal footing, at least against the best team in football.
Well, because you're talking about a division, right? You're talking about 2 coaches that know each other with the Chiefs and the Raiders. You're talking about Carr knows that defense like Mahomes knows the Raiders defense. It's a divisional opponent. They see each other. When you play against divisional opponents, it's just not me watching tape against you. I'm also watching the other team that I might be playing that's already played you. So I get an opportunity to see you so much, right? When think about it, the Chargers play the Chiefs. They're watching film, and the Raiders play the Chiefs. They're watching film of the Chargers, even though it's the Chiefs, but they're looking at the Chargers. They see what's going on. Or when the Chiefs play let's say the Chiefs playing Denver, the Raiders are playing Denver at some point. They're not necessarily watching the tape for the Raiders. They're watching it to scout Denver, but it shows up. So you get an opportunity to see so much of one another. This is an out-of-division matchup we're talking about with the Steelers and the Chiefs. I'm talking about more in the division. I know you. I know your tendencies. I know the way you walk. I can tell. I know the way you smell. All of those sort of things.
All up in you. Know the way you smell, huh?
I know the way you
know
smell.
where I want to go with that comment. I'm going to leave it alone.
Oh, God. His kid here.
I will say.
Please don't.
I will
609. I think
609. What? I was going to say, though, I do look forward to Thursday when the Ravens play the Steelers, because I wonder after that game, what else will Lamar Jackson say after that game? It seems like every game they lose, he said something that makes you wonder, what are we doing from a leadership perspective here, Lamar?
That's something we'll dig into later this morning because it has been a recurring thing. Last thing on Patrick Mahomes, this is just the greatness of Mahomes. I know every